Hi. The purpose of this video is to kind of do a case study for how we might go about using family search to figure out where our records are located. This began with the birth record of Emily Kubienka, and we were actually able to jump back a couple generations based on the data there. So her father was Joseph, Catholic, legitimate son of Joseph of House 76 from Dolny Herzmanitsa, and his wife Teresa, born Heil, in number 4 in this city here, or village, or smaller than a village. But both of them are from the district Landskron. So how do we go about finding where the Loudon records are? Well, somewhere along the line, somebody sent a link to a PDF called Inventar. I thank whoever it is. I have an older version on my other computer, but this would help us out. Now, know that I just didn't read this and leap right to this. It took a lot of experimentation, a lot of mistakes, etc. But I think seeing where you end up if you know what you're doing is probably pretty beneficial. We want to do a search on Loudon. First time I saw it, I thought it said Landon, and I'm going, that just doesn't feel Czech. And I believe it was in a siblings record, and then when I went back to this one, I could see the U. So if I go Command F on the Apple, Control F on PC, LAUD, and just search. And we get it there. If I search a little further, I don't find any more. So, okay, we can stop anytime now. This was page 360-ish. So let's go find our first one. And we find that its contemporary name is Mezzelesi, and that's what's going to be recorded. Okay, so the time frame, let me see. Emily was born in (1863), so her grandmother might have been about 40, so 40 years before that, 1823. So we're going to look and see if we've got books in that time frame that say Mezzelesi. Okay, the very first one here does. So there it is. I know it's not in this book, so we'll save us the trouble here. But it could be in this book. And so if I note the dates, 1784 to 1835, and that there are 54 pages. I don't know if that means 54 images or 27 images, half of it. But there's a 54 in there, so some number will make sense. So that one's a strong possibility. And if I look down a little bit further, that's what I get for not using a mouse. I do not see any other. Oh, here's one. But 1835, that's a little late. So Mezzelesi had its own book back then. So in all likelihood, the book that we want is this one. Now, how to tell in family search which one that is. Let's go back over here, and I'm going to go back to here. And what was it? 1784 to 1835. So 1784 to 1835. Well, lo and behold, that's the only book that matches that. So let's go see if we can prove this or disprove it. Most of the digital copies have a 3x5 card in the second slide. And so we can look at this and say that, yes, it's Dolní Heřmanice plus Mezilesi, and this matches up 54 pages. That matches up with what was on this one. So I can conclude that this is probably the book. And indeed it was. We found at least a half a dozen children in it. Well, let's go take a look at one of the records on image 12. We know from Emily's record that it was house 4. And if we come over and look at this right page, near the bottom we find Joseph. Clearly not Heil, is it? But a little further up on the page, somewhere, yes, there it is, Anna. That is house 4, and this is clearly Joseph Heil. And then Elizabeth Steiner. But how can we tell, why are there two families in the same house where they're not? This one, because Loudon is a very small village, they put just the name of the village right underneath the house number. Compare that to the other number 4, which did not have it. So we see a 21 Loudon, 30 Loudon, but the others are which village? If we scoot up to the top of the page, we see Book of Birth, Kniha Narození, Dolní Heřmanice, and Loudon. So why are they under Horní Heřmanice? I kind of have an analogy for the country parishes in my hometown. Unlike Bohemia and Moravia, where the villages were clustered really close together, out in the Midwest, somebody would have a section for their farm, 4 quarters, so the average farmers would live a mile apart, but they would all go to the same church. So there were at least 4 country parishes in the vicinity of my hometown, up to 17 miles away from the hometown. Now, they did not have their own books. Their baptisms and births, etc., were entered in my hometown's book because it was the same priest. He traveled out to those parishes. I believe they may have alternated weeks which one they went to. I don't know. 17 miles is pretty far to go in a horse and buggy, isn't it? So this is probably similar to that. This was a small village, not enough entries to justify having their own book. So to recap, if we go back to the PDF file, how do we know what to look for in family search. So what I ended up picking out was this name, Ustinad Orlici, and then underneath it, this name. And then I found a book for these villages underneath it. Recently, I looked up another one and I got it on the first try, so maybe my subconscious is starting to figure out which thing is the top level that Family Search would be using. I don't know yet, but at least using this document, you have a clue where you should go look. Bye.